Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
It is my honor to introduce to you the 45th and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
In America, the impossible is what we do best. There is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. We will restore America's promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love. We will stand bravely, dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun.
Welcome back to the Mel K Show. As you know, I am on a mission to make every single U.S. citizen live their dreams, because I believe that we, the people of the United States, had our birthright stolen out from under us, and it's time for us to take it back one citizen at a time. And if you are out there and you are seeing what's happening in the world and you are getting excited, well, guess what? It's time for you to decide what your future looks like, what your Constitution and Declaration of Independence are. And the best person to help you make your dreams come true is my good friend, Clay Clark. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Hey, thank you for allowing me to be here with you, Mel. And I want everybody watching this show. I know there's a lot of great shows that are put out on a lot of great channels, but I want everybody to really dial in today because the topic is you. And yes. You say, who are you talking to? You and Mel, you have some of the best listeners out there. And I think what's happening is so many of us have been speaking out, trying to save this republic, trying to stop the corruption. And now that President Trump's in charge, we kind of find ourselves going, okay, he's over there doing something in Saudi Arabia, doing whatever he's doing. Okay, this deal's getting signed. This executive order is being done. But meanwhile, the average person watching your show might want to do Operation Make Your Wallet Great Again. And so if you're watching today's show and you want to make your wallet great again, I've got 5 moves that you can use. And I encourage everybody to grab a pen and a pad and prepare to take notes because it's very actionable. It's very practical. And I promise these super moves are doable by everybody watching today's show.
Great. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, the thing Mel always talks about, personal sovereignty. And one of the core tenets of personal sovereignty is financial freedom. And so, one of the things that you do is really help people achieve that. So, yeah, let's get into it.
So, okay, so here we're going to do is we're going to, I'm breaking down the notes on today's show. I want everyone to take notes, knowing there's 5 action items that we're going to take, 5 action items today. But I want to start off with the success story of a guy who looks like he was born yesterday. Okay, this is Josiah, and he's been a longtime client, great guy. And I'm going to pull up this video clip real quick here. Great guy. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. And he's a guy who is very realistic, and I'm picking on him because he seems like he was born yesterday. So let me pull this clip up. And if you're watching today's show and you're saying, I want to have success, but I'm too young, hopefully this particular case study settles it for you. You're not too young to have massive success. So here we go. Josiah Ragsdale, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
So I got to ask you, how did you originally come in contact with us there, sir?
Actually through Spotify.
Oh, wow.
Josiah Ragsdale. And then the name of the company is Automotive Lift Services. Our main niche is obviously fixing lifts because we generally will prioritize speed of repair. So like we offer like 48-hour repair time.
So Mel, this guy is in Iowa and he repairs auto lifts. So if you're watching today's show and you say, I want to start a business, but I've never done it before, that would be him. That's his story. He heard us on Spotify. He was an auto lift repair guy and he goes, why not? I'll come to one of the in-person Thrive Time Show workshops. He's been a client now. I think this is his 7th year or 8th year with us. And I called him before hopping on today's show to verify. He's grown 33 times larger than where he was when he started. So the first year he was with us, from that point forward, he's 33 times larger. And what does he do? He repairs auto lifts. Where's he based? He's in Iowa. And so step number 1 that everybody out there can do right now, step number 1 is I want you to make a list of all of the problems that you can solve. And I did this with Josiah, and I'll do this for any of your listeners, Mel, but it has to start with that first step because entrepreneurship is simply solving a problem for people in exchange for a profit. And this young man, Josiah, he's like, I repair auto lifts. That's what I do. And I'm saying, well, what if you did it for yourself as a self-employed person at scale? And I think there's some sort of phobia, Mel, that people have. I think young people, old people, middle-aged people, there's a phobia where you say, well, I don't know if now is the right time. And I want to get your thoughts on that, Mel, because in this case, he traveled here from Iowa. I'll never forget it. He traveled from Iowa. He came to our conference, and my Hummer, I used to drive an H2 Hummer, and something was wrong with it. And he says, I think I can fix it, sir. And I'm going, this guy looks like he's 20 years old. He says he can fix my car. Okay. Next thing I know, he's underneath my vehicle and he's fixing something. And I'm going, are you really fixing my car right now? He's like, oh yeah, that's what I do. He repairs my car and made a fix. My vehicle wasn't working properly. He repairs it. And I go, what do you do for a living? This is at the conference. True story. And he says, I repair cars. And I go, so what kind of business do you own? He's like, well, I don't own one, but I want to eventually have my own repair thing, I think. But Mel, it was like he had to have somebody else validate to him that he had what it took to do it. I want to get your thoughts on that, Mel, because I think a lot of people watching today's show might be a little stuck because they think that success, that they might think that success is reserved for somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I always had this problem. I had a great mentor of mine that would always say, Mel, who are you waiting to give you permission to do what you want to do? Just, you just have to start taking steps in action. And frankly, if you want to wait, you'll wait forever. And you and I are both the same. If we want to do something, we're going to do it and we're going to figure it out. Rob knows I'm like that. Rob isn't necessarily like that, but he has been around me for quite some time. I am somebody that they say it can't be done. And that's even more exciting. So, Rob, am I that kind of person that says, if we can do it, we can do it, and we get started right away?
You definitely are. And, and I understand that. And I've had those experiences in my life where people say you can't do something and then you do it. Somehow you have to find that nugget of passion and faith, motivation. And one of the most exciting things is to think about where you might be if you achieve that, and to get rid of the excuses, because the excuses that your brain is programmed for excuses because it's a little bit scary to get outside your comfort zone. But if you really think about it, you're not actually outside your comfort zone. You're just, you're just acting. You're just
one. God gave you permission out of the gate.
I know this is what you just said, waiting permission for who are we waiting for? Now, again, somebody says, I can't relate to that young guy. He's too young. He's too Iowa, too much rhubarb. I can't relate. Okay. So this guy right here is a doctor. Okay. And Dr. Morrow, we'll just say based upon this video, maybe he's 22 years old. I don't know how old he is. Okay. But so someone goes, this guy looks too young. Okay. This guy looks more my kind of guy. Maybe he's in his 30s. I don't know. But this is Dr. Morrow. And I want you to hear his success story real quick here, folks. He's a dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase.
Now, he's been a client of mine for almost a decade. Great guy, okay? And I'm just telling you this because both Dr. Morrow and Josiah Ragsdale, they both had to get to a place in space where they said, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to make a list of the problems that I can solve. So with a pediatric dentist, you would think it would be obvious. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it is. But as a pediatric dentist, you start to think, okay, I could do teeth cleaning for moms. Maybe I want to, maybe I don't, but I could. I could do teeth cleaning for dads. Maybe I want to, maybe I don't. I could do, and you make a list of all the problems you can solve. Back to the auto lift guy, you say, you know what, I could do general automotive repair. I could do auto lift repair. But you need to make a list right now of all the problems that you solve. And I cannot mention the person's name, but I'm going to give you an example. There's somebody right now I'm working with who happens to be a professional sports coach. And I'm talking to the professional sports coach. He's a client of mine. He coaches a major league, pro sport. Everybody, if I mentioned his name, you'd go, oh, that's who it is. And he reaches out to me and he says, hey, I've always wanted to write a book on my coaching philosophy. And I go, well, let's do it. And he says, what do you mean, let's do it? I go, let's do it. Let's do it. You, me, let's do it. He says, now? I go, yeah. And so we're working through this book. And all I'm saying is here's a guy who's a professional sports coach. Everybody sees him on ESPN all the time. And for whatever reason, he was waiting for permission, back to your point, for the world or for someone to give him validation that he could write this book. And as we're writing the book, what's happening is he's discovering there's a huge need for the problems he can solve. So yes, he trains pro athletes and makes millions of dollars to do it. But now he's finding that youth camps, youth high schools, colleges, they want him to come in and to host camps. And although he's infinitely busy, he's going, you know what? I could take my knowledge and I could teach high school coaches who could then teach their athletes. I could do seminars for other coaches. And all I'm saying is it starts with making a list of all the problems you can solve. Now, step number two.
Hey, Clay, I have a question about that, or an observation, which is really interesting. I mean, one of the things, if you don't know, we've become very close friends with Clay over the last 5 years or so, traveling around the country, saving the world. And, one of the things that I've come to learn about you, and as well as, in your business coaching and business stuff, is that you're a very creative problem solver. And what I think is important, that people need to hear about what you said, is that you might have an idea, or you might have a skill, or you might have a business, but you're in that track. And I think what, if I'm kind of paraphrasing, what you're saying is that, hey, let's take a fresh set of eyes of that idea, that skill, or that business that you have, and how do we create more scale? How do we leverage what we're doing or what you know, and create more opportunity? Is that fair to say?
It is fair to say. And what you did is I just want to validate this idea. And I wish some of these, I only show videos if I have permission from the client to show the video. So this is an example. I can't share the video. But this lady had a coffee shop and she sold the best coffee in her city. Everybody went to the coffee shop because the coffee was good. And her revenue was capped at about $700,000 a year, not profit, but gross revenue. But she had the same building. And I said, hey, without expanding your size of your building at all, what if we made your place a gathering place? And she's like, have you lost your mind? I said, no, seriously. This is all pre-COVID. I said, what if we turned your sidewalk into like an outdoor gathering place? She said, what are you thinking? I said, we'll put out pergola out there. We'll put a chimenea. Like we'll do a built-in fireplace. And we're going to have like pinyon wood burning. We're going to have a pergola. And we're going to make it a place where people want to gather. We're going to take that wall that faces the busy traffic and let's paint a mural on it from a local artist. And she's like, I can't afford that. I said, no. Local art colleges, they'll want to paint the wall for free. Listen, there's going to be some guy who sells chimeneas that'll want to build the chimney for free. Well, anyway, long story short, now in her particular city, she is known as the gathering place. People come to her place just to hang out. And now she sells bagels. She sells pastries. She sells a variety of things. She's actually doing almost like a full meal. It's almost like a Starbucks menu with a little more variety to it. I mean, but she's really doing great. Her revenues have almost tripled, but we're sitting down making a list of problems that she could solve, Rob. And by taking a fresh look at it, like you mentioned, we discovered that, wow, people go out for coffee a lot of times, not just for the coffee, obviously, they go out for the fellowship. And I'm going, you've got this beautiful sidewalk area facing a very prominent part of your town. And she's going, you want to build a fireplace? Is that legal? Is it safe? Is it ethical? Can I do it? Because for 20 years, she's been running this coffee shop. Anyway, all I'm saying is if you're watching today's show, step number 1 is make a list of the problems that you solve. Now, step number 2, do the math. And that goes back to what Rob said. Rob said it might be scary to start this business. You do the math. And doing the math takes the fear out of it. So back to my dentist friend, I said, hey, for every client that you add, I mean, if you hire me as a consultant, it's $1,700 a month. So for every client that you add, how much profit do you make per year? I said to my dentist friend. And he said, well, you make about $1,000 a year per patient. I'm like, okay. So if I get 2 clients a month, if I and my team, if we generate you 2 new clients a month, we're paying for ourselves. And he was like, yeah. Well, I think you heard him in the testimonial. He grew 70 new patients a month?
Clients a month. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just a wild number. So again, I mean, it's like he's paying me $1,700 and he's generating 50 times that much. I mean, it's wild. But again, just the math, here he is a dentist. He'd never done marketing before. And for dentists, it could be a scary idea. For Mr. Iowa, we're doing the math and he's going, if I go out on my own and I really build this business, if I sell X number of auto lift repairs, I could hit my financial goals. So what you want to do, step number 2, is you want to think about what are your financial goals? What are those goals? What are those goals? Think about the goals and go, okay, now how many somethings do I need to sell to hit that goal? And that goal might be really big. One of my longtime clients, he just got his business evaluated at over $500 million.
Wow.
That's wild. That's not normal. But I can tell you from day one working with him, that was his goal, was to build a business that's $1 billion company. And he's created almost like the Uber for healthcare. So just to put a little meat on the bone there, it's a guy who, if a hospital needs a doctor or a nurse, they go to his website, and then his website has a pool of doctors and nurses readily available. It's like an Uber for healthcare. Wow. And I'm just saying, we sat down and did the math. He's going, this is how I see this working. And I think a lot of people, Mel, who are creative, not your listeners, but who are creative, they often fear math.
Yeah.
And they view math as antagonistic to the achievement of their goal. So step one is we want to have the big vision. What are all the problems we can solve? But step two, with kind of a sober mind, we do have to do the math. And when you're making a film, Mel, you know how it works. I mean, people talk about the film and how exciting it was to watch, but somebody had to make the budget for the film. And I want to get your thoughts on that, on the marriage of that, because that's one of the things we do with clients is I'm not trying to stifle anybody's dreams, but we do have to do the math. And I'm not trying to kill all the math people out there, but we have to come up with big dreams. So there's the balance of both of those. What would be your thoughts, Mel, for anybody out there that's got big visions, but maybe is slow to want to do the math?
Well, I think it's there's a fallacy that if you are an artist or a creator or a creative or, any of that you're supposed to do it just out of passion and love and all of that, which is true. But if you don't do it with also keeping in mind that you have a life and a lifestyle to live that also has to be factored in, then you're never going to achieve it because you're not looking at the big picture of reality. And I've seen this many, many times. And until I realized that I had to make, money doing what I did, it's all fun and games until you realize that, everything that you do should be adding to your quality of life. And that means you need to pay your bills. You need to pay what you need to pay for your business, all of that. And I think it's just taking responsibility for your dreams includes paying for them and making a profit. And like you said, finding other ways, in what I did for my first 20 years of business, a lot of times when I wasn't working, I had to work on something else. So I always had multiple things I was doing at one time that included making money to continue pursuing my dreams. So it's all connected, but I know that there is that stop especially for very creative people, that they see numbers or they think money and they panic. And those are the people that will never be successful because you got, like I was talking to my friend Richard, like show business if show, everything's a business at the end of the day if it's real. Reality does mean that you also have to pay for your life. So I think that that's something people have to get over immediately.
And I think that's what's so powerful about coming to a workshop is that you have 2 days to think about your life and your business, and you can contrast where you're at versus where you want to be. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And I want to, step number 3, folks, this is important. You want to implement proven systems. Now, I'm just going to tell people out there just some things that I'm not qualified to talk about. This is a true story. I'm talking to my buddy, again, professional coach. He says to me the other day, he says, "Hey, I'm thinking about ABC 1, 2, 3. What are your thoughts?" And I said this, I told my client, I said, "I have no thoughts related to that subject. But I would love to, because I can't, as your friend, I could comment, but I can't give you advice in that area." And he's like, "I guess I wasn't looking for advice. I just wanted to get your thoughts." And it's because I'm not a professional athletic coach guy. And he just wanted to bounce ideas off of and kind of see if what he was saying was rational. And I'm going, "Oh no, what you're saying is rational. It makes sense to me." But I couldn't give him a best practice. I couldn't tell him a proven move for that. Okay. But what I did tell him is I said, "Hey, you happen to know some of the most successful coaches in the history of sports. If I were you, I would call them." And he goes, "I don't know why I didn't think about that. I am going to do that." So he picked up the phone and called some people, and he was able to get the information he needed. And I think that's the big value of having a mentor is that, what I do is I help people not move off of guesswork. So we go back to Josiah and his business, this automotive lift company. I don't give him advice on how to make a lift, how to repair a lift, what kind of lift should be used. But in terms of how to get new customers, how to find great employees, how to manage a team, how to become profitable, I can do that all day. The dentist, I don't give him a lot of feedback about incisors and bicuspids and wisdom's teeth and these sorts of things, but I can help him market the business, increase his sales, and hire better people, build systems. And so I think one of the things that I do that has worked so well over the past 20 years is I eliminate the guesswork. And because you're into a whole network. And so if you're out there today and you're going, "Man, I can't afford to learn by trial and error," I'm with you. And I'll just give people a story about this. Back in the day, I was building a company called djconnection.com. I'll pull it up on the screen so your listeners can verify that it's not a fake idea. It's a company I haven't owned, though, for a long, long time. So let me pull it up real quick here. I haven't owned it since 2007. But I remember, Mel, I was doing 10 weddings a weekend. 10 weddings. I was doing 10 weddings. And the company, by the way, grew to where we would do 80 weddings a weekend. But I was stuck at 10 because I was trying to think of how do you train 10 people to become disc jockeys and to effectively execute weddings at the highest level. This is the bride's wedding. How do you do that? And so I began Googling and searching and finding, and I found this lady. Now, by the way, this is when like Yahoo and Ask Jeeves were the place you would go to.
Yeah.
So I find this lady who has the largest disc jockey service in New York. And I called this lady and I said, hey, I have a disc jockey company and I am stuck at 10 weddings a weekend. And I really would love to hire you to teach me. And right away, she was very standoffish, did not want to help me. And I said, I'm in Oklahoma. She's like, you're in Oklahoma? I said, yeah. She goes, well, I'm in New York. You're not coming to New York, are you? I said, no. I'll sign an agreement that I won't come to New York and compete with you, but I will gladly pay you, ma'am. I remember like it was yesterday. I'm like, I'll gladly pay you $1,000 if you can just hop on the phone call with me for an hour, because I've got these areas where I'm stuck and I would love your help. She says, $1,000 for an hour? I said, yeah. She said, okay. You're not going to come to New York? No problem. So I get on the phone and I said, okay. Speakers. I'm buying these JBL 225 speakers. They're big speakers. And I'm having a hard time with the people I hire because the people I hired oftentimes don't have a big enough vehicle to get the speakers from show to show. What do you recommend? She's like, oh, you want to use the Yamaha 15-inch with the Crown CE 2000 amp because that's big enough for a big venue, small enough for a small one. And I'm going, whoa. What amp was that? She said, there's a Crown. And the point is she knew right away the problem I had, and she knew the equipment. I go, okay, now as far as the microphones, I'm having a hard time. And she goes, oh, no, you got to use corded microphones because if you use a cordless mic and you're doing so many events, you're going to have problems. Every best man is going to walk right in front of the speaker, use an SM58. I'm going, SM58. She goes, oh, you can't break it. They're going to drop it. It's going to happen. I go, well, what lights do you use? She says, oh, you want to use the American DJ Vertigo. Those are great lights. The lights don't burn out. The bulbs don't burn out. And she knew the answer to every question I had. I'm going, well, I'm trying to get the equipment to fit inside a 4-door vehicle. She says, oh, you got to go to the company called Gig Rig. I think it was called SKB. They're a company made in Europe. They'll ship it up. And I'm just like, she knew everything. And it was like, wow, I get off. I mean, I'm 30 minutes with her. I've got every problem solved. Wow. So now I go back and I built systems that could fit the equipment inside smaller vehicles. So I thought, man, I'm really stuck. Now, how do I get the DJ to be motivated to wow the bride? I mean, you would think that the DJ would care, but once you've done 100 weddings that year, how do you make sure that every night is like opening night? So I called her again. At this point, she was a little concerned. She says, how many weddings are you doing? I said, we're doing like 20 a weekend. She's like, honey, I can't help you. I think I might be helping. I don't want to be feeding my enemy here. Thank you so much. So at that point, I recognized, okay, I'm not going to get any help from her, but I reached out to other people I knew in different industries that knew how to scale companies. And my uncle Clint at the time, a very successful entrepreneur, Clint says to me, okay, what you got to do is their pay has to be attached to their performance. It's called merit-based pay. And I'm going, oh, wow. Okay. I'm writing this down. He said, Clay, Southwest Airlines back in the day, he says, it's merit-based pay. Quick Trip gas stations, it's merit-based pay. And I go, what does that mean? He says, you pay someone based upon the result, not based upon what they said they're going to do. And he said, so after the wedding, call every bride and ask them how happy they were with the DJ on a scale of 1 to 10 and make their review determine the pay of the DJ. Let the DJ know going into it, their pay is based upon the bride's satisfaction. Let the bride know that the DJ's pay is based on their satisfaction. That way everyone's in on the conversation.
Okay.
And survey every bride after every wedding and pay your DJs based upon performance. And I thought, that's genius. So now all of a sudden my DJs are out there chasing a check. Now the DJs that are a little under the weather aren't calling in sick. Now my DJs were winning awards. And all I'm saying is that if you're out there today and you feel stuck, you need to start learning from best practices. Yeah. And we need to stop learning from trial and error, because although trial and error is effective, it's super painful. And you can either learn from mentors or mistakes. And Mel, I'm sure you've seen that with your acting career. There are certain people, they are such a good actor, you don't know they're acting. Oh, and there are other people that are such bad actors, it looks like they're trying to act when, and again, but you've paid people to teach you, to mentor you. And Mel, I mean, can you speak to the value of having a proven, tested person in your life teaching you something that does work as opposed to something that might work?
What's so crazy is I just interviewed him. He has a book out. His name's Richard Lawson. And for the last 25 years, he's been my North Star of chaos. Whenever anything's wrong in my life, I'm like, I got to get in touch with Richard. And he's always been there for me. But he's somebody that's no BS. He has systems like you know, about who you keep around you, what to focus on. Very, very similar, but in show business. He always also, you know, he always made it that, you know, as much as you love the writing and the rehearsing and all of that, if you are not every single day doing the administrative side and reaching out to people, very similar to you. He gave me this book like 25 years ago called Life is a Contact Sport. And it was all about your contacts are going to make you successful. And he has all these processes, and still to this day. And before him, his mentor, who was also my first teacher out in LA, Milton, he had a book, Dreams into Action. The whole book was about, you know, everything is about the business. The show part is, you know, that's a whole different thing. But if you can't master the business part, and you can't master putting together a list of people that you would like on your team, people that you would like to learn from, and then reach out to them and create the contact, then you're never going to grow. So I just had this conversation with him, very similar 2 days ago.
It's, again, if you have people in your life that know what they're talking about, you'll start to hear their conversations are almost the same or very similar, even though they're in different industries.
Right, exactly.
It's uncanny. And so
very similar.
I'm going to pull this up so everyone can follow along. I want everyone to really dial into this. Okay. So step-by-step success. It's easy. It's easy to grow a company. I promise you. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com and maybe somebody, you saw that success story of Josiah, and maybe you're thinking, he's a beautiful man. I don't know whether I have what it takes. What a beautiful man he is. And that's true. He's a beautiful man. Or maybe you say he's too young. He's too old. I think what happens is we start to make excuses for ourselves. And I'm telling you, I know Dr. Morrow, this is not a backhanded compliment. I know Josiah. They are very, very normal people, okay? They all did these steps here. Step 1, you find a problem. Find problems you can solve. Step 2, do the math. Step 3, implement proven systems. Eliminate the guesswork. It's too painful. I know somebody out there says, this seems obvious, but let me give you an example. Recently, related to the Reawaken tour, I've had to do some traveling to places I don't want to go to. I'll just keep it at that. And so if you'll notice, Giuliani and Lindell and all these wonderful patriots, they've all kind of found themselves in the same legal things. And so we have to travel to distant lands. Well, I don't know about you, but when I need to get from point A to point B, I fly to the airport. I think to myself, what is the shortest distance from the airport to where I want to go? And I never, and maybe I'm a sick freak, maybe I have a problem. I've never thought to myself, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to drive around until I think I might be getting close. I'm not going to play the hot and cold game. I'm going to put into my GPS. This is where I want to go. This is where I am. And it's going to steer me from A to B. And for some reason with careers, I don't understand what it is, but subconsciously we don't want oftentimes to go the shortest route. Sometimes we want to go the wrong way. It would be analogous to me flying into the Denver airport and then driving in a circle asking people, are we there yet? Are we getting closer? That doesn't make any sense. So why not just use the GPS? So a business mentor, what they're going to do for you is they're going to provide for you the shortest distance between 2 points, known as a line. And so back to the line idea here. Step number 4, I reached out years ago because I knew I didn't know what I was doing as related to branding. I wanted to, but I didn't. And at the time, I was running a company called DJconnection.com. And so I reached out to Michael Levine. And Michael Levine, before I read his quote, this is the guy who, some people love Michael Levine. Some people hate Michael Levine. I think some people get mad at Michael Levine because he charges for what he does a lot.
He should.
Okay. But he's the PR guy. You know, this is the guy, he was the PR guy for George Carlin at his prime, Michael Jackson, Prince, Nike. And he's just like, he's kind of like the Michael Jordan of public relations, okay? So I reached out to Michael and I said, Michael, I'd like to hire you. Long story short, it cost me quite a bit of money to learn this information, but I'm giving it to you for free, folks. It cost me $25,000 for this conversation, so I'm going to put this on here, and you do not have to pay $25,000. But this is what he told me, and he's also written books about it now, but he says, if you give someone a present and you give it to them in a Tiffany box, it is likely that they'll believe that the gift has a higher perceived value than if you gave it to them in no box or a box of less prestige. That's not because the receiver of the gift is a fool, but instead because we live in a culture in which we gift wrap everything. Our politicians, our corporate heads, our movie and TV stars, and even our toilet paper. Public relations is like gift wrapping. And so that set me on this journey to say, Michael, what should I do? And Michael gave me this task. Michael said, don't say anything you can't prove. As the head of DJConnection.com, don't ever say something you can't prove. And on your website, now again, I haven't updated this website. This isn't my website. I haven't been attached to it since 2007. But Mel, you better believe I put on the website, we DJ'd Chuck Norris's birthday party, because we did. You better believe that I put on the website, we DJ'd for Six Flags theme park, because we did. You better believe I put that we were the highest rated, most reviewed company, because we were. And I put all of that on the website, and it really helped me because brides weren't wanting to ruin their wedding by choosing a bad service.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I had never thought about that. But because of Michael said, listen, Clay, like your life depends upon it. Get a video review from every bride. Get a video review from every bride. This is before Google, but he says, get a Wedding Wire and not.com review from every bride. And just never, ever, 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 ever stop gathering real reviews from real customers. Get real objective reviews on the not.com and the Wedding Wire, and get video testimonials. And by doing that, man, it helped me. And I'm thinking, man, I am rocking. Michael Levine, baby, paid this guy $25,000. Wow, this guy, I mean, I am rocking. I'm doing the system. I'm super happy. And then I remember talking to Michael, and Michael says something to the effect of, your website, do you hate customers? And I'm going, what? And he's like, your website looks like you hate customers. And I remember thinking, what? And he goes, it looks bad. I mean, it looks like you made it yourself. And I'm like, well, I did. He's like, obviously. And so then that set me off on fixing the website and fixing the business cards and fixing. And I think, Rob, I think a lot of times what happens is if we're not careful, we can't see our business the way the world sees the business. And you came from the banking background. I mean, what would happen if the bank lobby looked like the lobby of some dysfunctional small businesses? How likely would it be that people would feel confident depositing their money at the bank if the bank's lobby looked like a dysfunctional small business?
Well, you have to, in banking in particular, because you're, a fiduciary, you're helping people raise money, you're dealing with very sophisticated people. You need to compete at the highest level, and that means you need to, look and sound the part. So that's kind of the bare minimum. But in any instance where you're competing, you want to show that you're competing at a level that is at or above where your competitors are. So and a lot of times what happens is it's very hard to look inside, because you get really busy with the details. And we go back to the fresh eyes, because that's really critical, is having fresh eyes on things, because that will point you to things that, either you haven't addressed or you haven't noticed, or you're just too busy to even take a look at.
Now, I want to pull this up here because the banking thing, your listeners will have fun with this because your listeners know what's going on with the banking thing. But the bank thing, Mel, the banks have this little sign when you go deposit your money, and it says, each depositor is insured, right? It had the little placard says each depositor is insured to at least $250,000. And it's got the gold thing, and it says backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Now, most of your listeners know who Catherine Austin Fitts is, and they know about the creature from Jekyll Island. But at the end of the day, that works for a lot of depositors. Like, people never question. Now, people like you, like me, like many of your listeners, I buy gold because I want to hold actual gold, which is a tangible thing. And I'm very concerned about a fractionary reserve lending system where, by the way, the Federal Reserve is not federal and there is no reserve. I'm concerned by that. I'm concerned that the banks, that our government is allowed to print money infinitely, and that we're backed by the full faith of the Fed. Think about this, folks. The Federal Reserve is not federal, and there is no reserve. That kind of stuff concerns me. But I've known this stuff for 20 years. When I go talk to a banker, I mean this. If you go to the bank today and you talk to your typical banker or typical bank cashier and you say to them, hey, are you aware that the Federal Reserve is not federal and there is no reserve? Almost none of them will know. And furthermore, they will think you're a crazy person. All they know is that it works because they've got that sign that says we're insured. And so people believe that stuff. And I'm just encouraging everybody out there watching today's show, let's make sure that your branding doesn't repel customers. It is so important that you have documented success stories. Now, I want to go back to Josiah here because he is such a young guy. By the way, he's a husband. He's got one kid, young family. But I want you to watch it again, folks, with some fresh eyes. Listen to his story because I'm telling you, you can do it. This guy can do it. You can too. Here we go. Josiah Ragsdale, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
So I got to ask you, how did you originally come in contact with us there, sir?
Actually, through Spotify. Josiah Ragsdale, and then the name of the company is Automotive Lift Services. Our main niche is obviously fixing lifts, because we generally will prioritize speed of repair. So like we offer like 48-hour repair times guaranteed. But otherwise, as far as the rest of the equipment in the shop, if it's in a shop, like in the mechanic side, whether it be exhaust ventilation equipment or air compressor equipment, we service it and sell it as well. But lifts are our main bread and butter. Oh, the workshops are a blast. It's like you're in a room with a ton of other people who want to do the same thing. And it's probably the most, I don't know. It's just excellent. Like you just got to go. Like you go in, there's the whole thing is very different. Like I've never seen anything like it. You get to see a bunch of people who, like I said, are kind of in the same boat as you and meet them. And they're not normally just people who are kind of like, I'm just trying to sell insurance to this small group that you're somehow a part of in your town. But no, these are like people who are like really growing their companies. Like I can think of like Ryan Wells, for instance, grows like crazy. Like he's a ton of fun to talk to when we go down there. And I always get new ideas from it too. So I'm like, wow, we're really dropping the ball in this area and these guys are killing it. So it's awesome.
What kind of an impact has weekly business coaching made on you and your business?
Yeah, it's made a huge impact. I mean, like I said, I don't think we would be anywhere close to where we are right now if even still in business without it. It's like you guys have really helped just continue growing, because like without you guys, we wouldn't have our website cranking. We wouldn't have a bunch of leads. I'd probably be stuck in my own head. I'd probably still be stuck as a self-employed technician. And not have really figured out how to get out of that phase. Like I really think I'd be stuck there for many years without a weekly call.
Final question. There's somebody out there that is a big statistic guy. They want to see stats. I'm not asking you for your private numbers, but as far as a percentage, how much have you grown since we met you? Are you up like 2%, 7%, 10%? What kind of a percentage here? How could you... And again, this is a guy who his business, he on this part, again, I just, for sake of time, I didn't get a chance to play the whole thing, but he goes on to kind of do the math out loud and he's like, I think we're up 33 times. He eventually does the math and he arrives at 33 times larger. So again, if you're stuck today and you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you're a photographer, you're a filmmaker, whatever you do, I promise that you can get unstuck, but you've got to implement these 5 steps. 1, find the problems that you can solve. 2, do the math. 3, implement the proven systems. 4, your branding has to be first class. Now, full disclosure, for all of our clients out there, we do all that for you. So photography, videography, web development, search engine optimization, videography. So just put a little meat on the bone. If you go to oxyfresh.com, we do that. That's what we do. If you go to papagallos.com, we do that. That's what we do. So as a business owner, you don't have to hire all these professionals. You don't have to work with shady vendors you can't trust. We do all that for you. And then the final step we have to do is you have to sell something. And man, you got to sell something. Now, my daughter, Havana, I want to brag on her. She's on the verge of turning 21. And I made her come work for our haircut chain, working there selling memberships. And to her credit, she was terrified. She was 15 years old, and she became a very good salesperson over one summer. And so now in that area of her life, she doesn't struggle at all with verbal communication because it was not comfortable for her to try to sell memberships to people at a haircut chain. And she was 15 years old, by the way, and she's selling to 40-year-old men. But she became very good at it. And now I watch her as a teacher. I watch her as a communicator. I watch her, and she does very well now. And a lot of times she credits that to the things she learned while working there. And that's one of the things we help all of our clients do is we teach you how to sell effectively, because if you can't sell, nothing will go well. So no matter what your business idea is, you eventually have to sell something, or it's a dysfunctional hobby or a pastime that's not sustainable or whatever that is. So you eventually have to sell something. And I think, Mel, a lot of people, whether you're selling, hey, I'm the best fit to be an employee. If you're trying to sell your resume to an employer, that can be terrifying. If you're trying to sell yourself, I have one particular artist I work with right now who's trying to sell songs he's written to other artists. And it's very terrifying for him because he's never wrote music for other people. And that rejection, when he gets told that your song isn't a good fit, it's so personal. It's so mind rocking. It's so soul destroying in his world that I'm coaching him through the process of getting rejections, and he's really developing well. But again, you have to learn how to sell. And that's one thing we do for all of our clients as well, Mel.
Yeah, it's really important. I'm not great at it. Rob's much better than me, but my father was an incredible salesperson. I watched it my whole life. He could talk to anyone about anything, and it's an incredible gift. But honestly, it's also a skill that has to be learned and worked. And like you said, the great thing about your coaching is that you do need somebody to say, well, what do you think didn't work? What did work? How can we do it better? Let's rehearse it. You know, when I've pitched screenplays or movies, like sometimes if I have a partner, we've rehearsed it like 12 times before we go in front of people, because to see like who's going to say what and how to get there as quick as possible. I mean, you know, it's a skill. It's not like a lot of people, oh, I'm not good at selling. I'm not good at talking to people. Well, you can be. You just have to have the motivation to train yourself and rehearse and get to a place where you're comfortable. And then having a coach is the best thing possible in that realm as well.
Now, one of our longtime clients, he's going to speak at the conference we have coming up in June with Tim Tebow, and I'll pull this up. He's in a franchise, and the franchise he's in won't allow him to change anything related to his company. Right. So all he can change is how well he sells. And I'm not kidding you. He's now the most successful person in his industry in his state, and he hasn't changed anything other than his sales skills. And we have worked with him, and he happens to sell financial products. And so if you're out there today and you want to grow a business, you want to start a business, you want to take your career to the next level, I want to walk you through the 3 calls to action we have here for you. So first off, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to run into the face of Robert Kiyosaki. You're going to run into the face of Eric Trump. And when you click on the little play button, you can hear what they have to say about the workshops. And I think it's very important for you to hear their feedback about what they hear about the conversations. But if you say, I don't trust them, they're too big of a name. Okay. You go to testimonials, you're going to find people that are very Josiah Ragsdale-esh, very real people, good people, real entrepreneurs. You're going to see over 2,000 success stories right there at thrivetimeshow.com. So call to action number 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com, check out the testimonials, invest the time. These are real entrepreneurs that have had real success. Step number 2, request a ticket to come to one of our workshops. How do you do that? You go to Thrive Time Show, you click on the conferences button, and when you go there, you can request a ticket. And the way our tickets work is they're $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And if you mention that Mel K sent you, what you do is you have a chance to win a backstage pass. So if you say, hey, Mel K sent me, you have a chance to win a backstage pass. Also, we give you discounts off the VIP tickets if you use promo code Mel K. And again, Mel will be joining us here. You'll be joining us in September at the September business conference. So again, I encourage everybody out there, step number 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com, check out the testimonials, build your faith that you can do this. Step number 2, click on the conferences button. You can learn more about requesting a conference ticket. And then finally, if you want one-on-one business coaching, that is something that's very personal to me. It's something that I do and have done for 20 years. And what we do is we help you with your human resources, with your bookkeeping, with your public relations, with your search engine optimization, with graphic design, everything. But it all starts with a 13-point assessment because, yes, it's $1,700 a month. And yes, it's month to month. And yes, it is less money than it costs to hire the average part-time employee. All those things are true, yes. But at the end of the day, I don't want to take anybody's money if I'm not confident that I can help you. And we do award scholarships to people that are in need or might need a little bit of a hand up. Yep. But I want to make sure that you check the following 3 boxes if I work with you. 1, I want to make sure that we can actually help you. That's very important for me. 2, I want to make sure that you sell a product that I don't believe harms people. I want to make sure you sell a product that doesn't harm people. And the 3rd is, do I like you and do you like me? Because there's nothing worse than having reverse rapport with somebody and you have to work with them. And I think life is too short to spend your day working with people that irritate you all the time. So I want to make sure that we get along. And that's why I do all the 13-point assessments myself. And so a lot of information, Mel, but I want to give people a feeling of encouragement here because Trump is doing a lot of things to save America and to make America great again. But if you're watching today's show and you want to make your wallet great again, or maybe great for the first time, I encourage you to go to thrivetimeshow.com.
I encourage you to, and you're the best. And we are going to have our 13 step assessment upcoming soon. I told Rob as soon as he gets back, we're doing a lot of stuff, and then we are going to have our own assessment with you. Because
Well, we get regular assessments,
No,
but
like the
official.
because we have been canceled from everywhere. We're not on YouTube. We're not on Telegram. We're kind of stagnant. And now every time I do a show with you, I'm like, we need to hire Clay.
Mel,
so I just want everyone to
this. Mel, I want to say this real quick about the YouTube thing. Because this happened to you and it happened to me. There's different kinds of banning on YouTube. I want people to understand how important it is to subscribe to your Rumble channel. I want everyone to know this. This is real, okay? Everyone needs to go to Mel K on Rumble and subscribe. Listen to this. This is a true story. I got back. I was gone. I was gone. I was dealing with some legal stuff. I get back, and one of my employees tells me, Clay, you got a strike on a YouTube video that I think you released years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has anything to do with anything political at all. So on my YouTube, I got all my YouTube videos deleted, just like you. Then I was able to make a new YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel is never able to have views.
Right.
So no matter how many people view it, I don't get views. So it'll say like 2 views or 3 views, no matter how many people look up the Thrive Time Show on YouTube. They always find there's 2 views or 3 views every video. Way to discourage people from watching. But I put out a video years ago and I just got a strike, aka a warning. And the video is not a video that I've even put out recently. And so that kind of thing. And so if you're saying, well, what can I do to help Mel K? Maybe say, Clay, I don't like you, but I like Mel. What I want you to do is you go on over here to rumble.com. This is so important. Everybody, we're going to do it right now. Here we go. We're doing it right now. Everybody, come on. If you're watching this right now, I want you to feel just a little bit of guilt right now if you're not doing this. So we're going to go here we're going to go to Rumble. We're going to search for Mel K. I'm going to rumble.com. I'm searching for Mel K. I found it. Okay, there it is. I'm clicking. It's the Mel K Show. There's some fake channels. We're going to find the real, the Mel K
there's
Show.
some fake channels.
The Mel K Show. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and subscribe. Okay. And I'm already subscribing, so I can't resubscribe again, but you get the idea. You find the channel and you hit subscribe, because that is really the most effective way for people to help your show grow, because you are shadow banned or banned more than almost anybody on the planet. So I encourage everybody, Mel, to subscribe to your podcast today.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much, because I have been banned from YouTube since 2020, and I've tried to get back on and I get banned immediately. Also, I'm not on Telegram, but there's fake channels on YouTube and Telegram, which is the same thing. Then people look at YouTube and they think, oh, she's got her podcast isn't popular. Nobody watches it. It's not me. And it's hard. Also, a lot of people are being paid on X, and it's very clear that I am being kept below the threshold of ever making money there. So for me, it is wherever you can find me and subscribe, especially Rumble really does help us. And I appreciate that, because people have to understand it's a psychological operation as well to tell you like that person's content isn't worth your time. And I believe that not only am I, but I believe that I am targeted by these people. I know I was on the Twitter files. So I do appreciate you saying that. And for you too, because before you got involved in Saving America, you were coaching people to build their businesses to $1 million businesses for years and years and doing these events. And then you come back to your old job, and which you never stopped, but you had to put a lot of time into reawaken. And now it's like, this is what you've always been doing. So I really am grateful for you and your friendship and your support, because it has changed our life a lot. And we will be at the event. And I want people to know it's so much fun. You're at Clay Rusalem. He's in his office right there. But behind him is like the most fun place. Everyone's friendly. Everyone's motivated. Clay puts on a show. He was a DJ. So it's not just like a boring conference. It's like really fun and funny. So we look forward to being there. And thank you so much. You motivate me as much as my audience every time you come on. And then I have a list for Rob of all the things he's not doing and he should be calling you for.
Well, I'll say this. I want to say this. I mean this sincerely. My wife is such a great support. I'm saying this for anybody watching today's show. I mean this. She's such a great supporter. And she's such a non-entrepreneur. And you say, wait, was that a backhanded compliment? What was that? No, my wife is like this stable rudder that makes sure we're going this way. You know, she's very, and it's really great to have that in my life. And then I'm, entrepreneur. So I'm out solving problems and eat what you kill kind of thing. And I can tell you, if you're watching today's show and you are the stable rudder in your family, but you go, man, I need some entrepreneurship in my life. The conference is good for you.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody who's an entrepreneur and you need some of that stable rudder, my wife, this is a true story today. I wish it wasn't true, but it is true. Today, my wife sends me a text. She says, hey, payroll. Well, we have a payroll company, Mel, that we use to process payroll, and they tripled the paychecks of multiple employees.
Oh.
And so, my wife is the first to go, and then she alerts me and I go solve the problem. And so for anybody, if you're watching today's show and you feel like you are like the Mel K and you're ready to go, woo, you're going to have fun at the conference. But if you're also more of the calm, cool,
like this guy,
Rob or my wife, where you're a calm person, you're going to find your people too, because it takes both parties to make something work. So I encourage everybody out there, don't feel like you have to be a type A person to thrive. But also, I'll tell you, if my wife wasn't the super mellow person, if my wife wasn't able to just stoically say, hi, honey, the payroll is 3 times larger than it should be today. And I'm going, what? Because I'm immediate spring into action. But if I didn't have that calming support system there, if my wife was me, if there was 2 of me, that would be interesting, because it would be like a nonstop 90-mile-an-hour sprint-a-thon. So I encourage everybody out there, bring your significant other with you. I promise we have something for both personality types. And I really cannot thank you guys enough for allowing me to be here with you.
Great.
Thank you, Clay.
I can't wait to be there. I miss Clay Rusalem. It is really one of the best experiences anyone could have, is going there for the weekend and spending time with such great people. And you and Vanessa are the best hosts there is. So we'll see you there. Thank you so much, Clay, for motivating me and motivating my audience to make their wallet great again and take control of their lives. Now is the time. There's no waiting left. It is your time to take your life into your hands, and Clay is the best.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships, and parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 a.m. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is the creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed, and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology you tell your group. I was so impressed because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay. And what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to like 100% growth. Like we're like a full functioning company. It's great. Like we're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant like cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly encouraging all the time. And he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive. But I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or what was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business, or was that something that you were maybe excited about, or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.